Hi you guys, it's day two, jump roping for 60 seconds, jump roping for hope, jump roping for change. Let's go. Woo! Day two.